What's up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse. I'm J-Man. On this edition of the Pulse, we're going to give you our TNA No Surrender 2012 review. Not really too special of a pay-per-view here. It's unfortunate that it really wasn't going into next month's Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Obviously, TNA's biggest pay-per-view of the year. You would hope to see something that would kind of impress and really, get you pumped and excited to be going into that Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Not to say that, the Bound for Glory pay-per-view won't be exciting and, something to really looking forward to what they're going to build to. But this pay-per-view, with what they've had in months past, in the months past they've had some pretty solid stuff. This one is just kind of an extension of Impact. Not really too much special stuff coming out of here. Had some intriguing parts in the middle that kind of kept you interested to see what was going to happen in the long run, but really in the end, just kind of a not too special pay-per-view here. I'm going to run down the card for you. First matchup, we have the Bound for Glory Series semifinal featuring Samoa Joe going up against Jeff Hardy. Just a lot like these two first matches here, the semifinals. Really anything special out of both of these matches. Just to kind of further along what's going to be going on during the night and get the finals figured out here. You kind of got both of what Hardy and Joe are known for when you get in this matchup. You had Joe doing the powerful, ground stuff, and also, the high impact stuff that he does, and Jeff doing his, high spots and stuff like that you get out of a Jeff Hardy matchup, and really just kind of what you'd expect out of this. Jeff Hardy getting the win in this matchup. I, predicted that they'd have Joe lose submission and then lose in, this pay-per-view matchup here. Unfortunate to see that. Obviously, you don't want to see Samoa Joe getting treated like that. But that's what we've come to expect over the past couple of years of how TNA's done things with Samoa Joe. It's unfortunate. We'd like to see him go to the finals there. But Jeff Hardy advancing to the Bound for Glory Series final in that matchup. Next matchup, we had the other semifinal between the Bound for Glory Series leader at this point, James Storm, and Bully Ray. This one looked heavily like it was going to be James Storm, and then as we kind of went through the match and we saw the progressions of, the refs getting knocked out and constant stuff where it looks like, okay, something's probably going to go down here. We had James Storm hit the last call super kick on Bully Ray, and right after that we saw Bobby Roode come out and stand right behind him and hit him with that beer bottle. It started to kind of look like you were going to see some suspicious stuff happening towards the end of this match, and I started to think, I'm like, we haven't seen Bobby Roode in a while, and I know the James Storm and Bobby Roode storyline and everything they're doing there isn't going to be complete, and obviously it looks like it's going to progress on to Bound for Glory, see some sort of stipulation added to this. I'm all for that. If we couldn't see, James Storm or Bobby Roode in the world title match, I want to see him in a match one-on-one at Bound for Glory, add some sort of stipulation, street fight, last man standing, whatever they're going to do. It should be great, and that's what they always produce, but really intrigued to see how that's going to continue into the long run. The Bully Ray advancing to the finals, setting up a Bully Ray and Jeff Hardy matchup there. Next matchup, we had a match for the Knockouts title. Miss Tessmacher, I think it was, and then I think Tara or something was in it. I couldn't tell you what the hell happened in this match. I can tell you about the ref. Taryn Terrell was the referee of this matchup. That's pretty fantastic right there. That's all really worth noting about this matchup. I wish you just referee every match, to be quite honest with you, in TNA. That's all you're basically getting out of the Knockouts division anymore is the enjoyment of the referee. That's about it. But the student getting the win over the teacher, whatever fucking shit they want to call it, but Tessmacher defeating Tara in this blah Knockouts match, but to my enjoyment, I got to see Taryn Terrell referee this match, and that's all I really gave a shit about. Next match up, or fight, or whatever the hell you want to call it, unsanctioned, some BS. We had the world champion Austin Aries going up against the arm breaker of Aces and Eights. Aries coming out and calling him out and saying how he wants to, get this fight under the way, and that's all it really was. Just kind of something we could have seen on Impact, to be quite honest with you. We had, that powder and shit in the eyes, had the IED in the corner, and then Aries hitting him with that brain buster. He could basically hit it on anybody. It doesn't really matter. A lot of people wouldn't think he'd be able to. That's people doubting Austin Aries, and look where he's at now. Hitting the brain buster on him, and then we, had an attempt to try and demask, that's the word, unmask, whatever the hell you want to say, the arm breaker of Aces and Eights, and we had the rest of Aces and Eights come out and thwart that attempt from Aries. We had the rest of the TNA locker room come out and protect Aries, and had a kind of little brawl there. Ended up with a beatdown on Aries. Hell, TNA guys come out, had Hulk Hogan come out and say, this shit's got to end. We're gonna have a lockdown of Impact. We're gonna bring in fucking cops and shit and have it like it's a 1999 edition of Monday Night Nitro with the fucking. I think we heard Scott Steiner's music in the background. I'm like, what the hell? We're putting fucking audio dubs over fucking cops and shit. It's like, come on, like really? Like of course they can't completely not show signs of just shitty things of the past of Hogan and all that kind of shit that we've seen. It just exactly what it reminded me of was a fucking Nitro segment when they brought all the cops out and shit. And that's all that really happened there. Also, Jeff Hardy also, which came to a big point here. Jeff Hardy getting thrown into the pole and kind of looked like into the post and not looking like he was going to be able to go on to the finals with Bully Ray. Bully Ray was the one who noticed that Jeff Hardy got thrown into the post there, and that was kind of an ongoing thing that through the second half of the show was really a mainstay of that, and really focusing on is Jeff Hardy going to be able to get to the finals and compete for the opportunity to go to Bound for Glory, which we would see in the long run what would happen there, which moved on to the X Division title matchup. We had champion Zema Ion going up against Sanjay Dutt. This was a pretty quality match. You're kind of stock, X Division pay-per-view title match you get here. Zema Ion looking pretty impressive, and obviously Sanjay Dutt just looking outstanding in this matchup, just showing why the hell he's been gone for the 4 years that he's been gone in TNA. It's just he's just a solid guy that an X Division can really use. Those guys that are the kind of now veterans of the X Division like a Sanjay Dutt is a good guy to go in there and make Zema Ion look good and continue his title run there, but also go out there and put on a really quality matchup, which wasn't too anything outlandishly special, but definitely served somewhat of a purpose here and was a pretty quality X Division matchup here, and Zema Ion retaining the title in that matchup. Next matchup, we had Rob Van Dam going up against Magnus. RVD went over in this matchup. Just absolutely no fucking point in that matchup at all, and Rob Van Dam getting the win, whatever. Next matchup, we had the TNA Tag Titles on the line. When champions, the World Tag Team Champions of the World, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, and Kaz, went up against Phenomenal AJ Styles and Kurt Angle. As predicted, as we did in the preview, as you could think of, this was obviously the best match of the night. Just when you get these four, kind of guys in there, it's what you're going to get every single time. Just an outstanding matchup with just focusing everything that they're able to do out there. They could, as we've said a million times, they could go out there and probably do it with their fucking eyes closed, half asleep, and put on this kind of quality stuff. Daniels and Kaz just entertaining as hell with the run they've had as tag champions and just the outlandish shit they're doing and just humping ropes and just making up random ass tag names, and the promos are hilarious, and Daniels and his Appletinis and shit. It's just really entertaining stuff, and just wondering to see what can continue with this tag run, because it will continue. Daniels and Kaz getting the cheap kind of heelish win, as you would expect if they would win this match. AJ and Kurt looking outstanding, as they always do when they get an opportunity to tag together. Daniels and Kaz getting that win off the Appletini to AJ's face and the roll up from Kaz. And Daniels and Kaz still your tag team champions. Be interesting to see what happens with all four of them going into Bound for Glory, if they all split up and do something different, or whatever happens out of that. Hopefully we can get something solid going into Bound for Glory next month. So that moved on now to our main event with Bound for Glory series final with Bully Ray and Jeff Hardy. It was up in the air if Jeff Hardy was going to be available for this matchup. We had Hulk Hogan come out and really kind of point the finger at Bully Ray, saying, this all came down to you. Now the ball's in your court. You got the opportunity to have Jeff Hardy get knocked out right before the finals in this Bound for Glory series, and it kind of all was advantageous for Bully Ray in that situation, and it ended up happening. Jeff Hardy ended up coming out. They were going to make it to where we were going to have to wait till Impact this week to figure out who the hell the Bound for Glory's champion was. That would just, oh my god, I don't even know. That'd have been a fucking J-Man rage for the fucking century right there. That'd have just been absolutely atrocious. But Jeff Hardy came out, and we had this matchup, just nothing. Just the worst out of all the Bound for Glory series matches tonight. Was just nothing. You just had that feeling of, as soon as Jeff Hardy came out, you just had that kind of, he's going to overcome the whole injury and just get the shit kicked out of him for, a good 10 minutes and then make a comeback and, have that victorious, outcome there. But what I really wanted to, you had that feel of, with Bully Ray and that outstanding promo he cut right before the match, saying everything that, he really should have said, how he's worked his ass off to really get in the position that he is, how he's gotten in shape, how he's just become a great single star after all the stuff he's done in, his tag career and everything. And, you had him come out there really kind of almost looking like he was just seizing that moment, and then you just had Jeff Hardy win the matchup. Either way, I would have just kind of been, okay, that's fine, whatever's going to happen. Austin Aries is going to have to pull a match out of either one of them if they get to the main event of Bound for Glory. But we had Jeff Hardy, and kind of in that predictable overcoming the odds kind of outcome there, getting the win off I think his only offense was like 5 Twisted Fates and like 3 Swantons. That's like all he's done, and a couple punches in between. That's about all he did in that to kind of work his way off that kind of injury they were playing. And Jeff Hardy will now move on to Bound for Glory next month to face Austin Aries for the World Championship. I'm intrigued to see that matchup. We haven't seen it yet. We kind of saw a promo between the two a couple weeks ago where they were all saying how intriguing it would be to see that matchup, and really all it would be intriguing to see what Austin Aries can pull out of Jeff Hardy, because when you get a guy like Jeff Hardy, it has to be the opponent that really provides the great match, because you have to pull it out of Jeff Hardy every time. It is what it is. But I'm intrigued to see what Austin Aries can do in that main event with Jeff Hardy. Is it what I wanted to see at Bound for Glory in the main event? No. What can we, expect is how good the match quality is going to be. You don't know. We're going to have to see. But it'll be interesting to see once we get to Bound for Glory. Thank God we could get out of that, fucking retarded ass inbred fucking Impact Zone for at least one night next month and go to Phoenix, Arizona for Bound for Glory, the biggest pay-per-view of the year for TNA, and it'll be intriguing to see what happens there. For this one, I'll wrap up our TNA No Surrender 2012 review. I am your host, J-Man, and thank you for watching another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse, the pulse of the professional wrestling world.